Okay, hello, you guys. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Anything Can Happen Wednesday. And anything is surely happening as I've had so much on my mind specifically regarding today's topic. I actually was inspired to do this by the video that I dropped last Sacred Sunday. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. I drop it here. I was reacting to the PBD podcast regarding men realizing that religion is very important to them versus young women realizing that religion is not very important to them. And we're specifically speaking about the demographic between the ages of 18 to 29. And you guys can go check out that video to see the statistics, see the reaction to PBD podcast, and my just general thoughts on the matter. But since then, the topic of young women feeling like religion is not very important to them did sit with me for these past few days. And I started to think about other things and kind of the direction that women are going into. And I've been seeing a lot of conversation in general with men coming back to God since then, and nobody really asking like why women are quietly walking away. I think it's an acknowledgement, and I think people have a lot of thoughts around it. And they say, they blame it on, feminism. Some people blame it on culture. But honestly, I don't think it's just that simple. I think that both sides have their opportunities, on, why women are kind of drifting towards a direction that is kind of, in my opinion, detrimental to them. Because having a faith, having a relationship with God, and having the beauty of a family and a future, I think that like feminism did its own job on scaring women of what that can be. And then I think that, people in males have their opinion, or people blame males have their opinion. That can be good feedback, but I don't think that they offer real solutions. So I think there's just a lot of noise and criticisms on both ends of what women should be. And I'm just here to give my thoughts on it. I'm here to just share with you guys what I think the opportunities are from both sides, and realistically what I think women actually need. So I know there's a lot of opinions on this topic. If you do have an opinion, if you do have something to say, watch the entire video so you know my general opinion on the matter. But also drop your thoughts below on why do you think that women are slowly walking away from not wanting to have a relationship with God and not wanting to have families, or I don't know. Just drop what you think. I'm curious to know. It will be a data point for me. I would love to interact with you guys in the comments as well, get your general thoughts. But before we get into today's topic, do remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you guys for the past week. I've been seeing, more views on some of the topics that I've been doing. So I think I'm taking the feedback. If you guys like certain topics like this, do like the video, do comment, do share, do subscribe to the channel. Obviously I'm in the very beginning stages of things. Humble beginnings are important, but I'm learning a lot as I go along, and I want to give you guys good quality content. But also, second to that, I want to interact with you guys more, help you guys on your individual journeys, or even individual questions that you have, whether if it's regarding women trying to find the path forward for them, whether if it's even guys trying to understand how to better navigate their emotions or their relationships, or even both people, men or women, need help just with this journey we call life, whether if it's investment strategy, finances, real estate. I am your girl. So definitely check out, I'm offering one-on-one consultations. Check out this video right here for more information. Hi loves, if you've been wanting more personalized guidance, I'm so excited to be officially announcing that I'm going to be offering one-on-one virtual consultations. Whether if it's in real estate, financial direction, emotional intelligence, or just helping navigate through life, I'm here to help you think through it with clarity, intention, and confidence. I'm offering flexible sessions between 15, 30, 45 minutes, and even up to 1 hour, so you can choose what works best for you. If you'd like to book, you can use the link below or the information in the description. Just a quick note, this is general guidance based off of my professional experience. in real estate, finance, and other life endeavors, and is not legal, financial, or licensed advice. So please make sure to review the terms before booking. And if this is your first time booking, there is a 10% off promotion available. Make sure to use the information below or the information in the description for the promotion code based off of your session length. I'm absolutely looking forward to connecting with you guys during these one-on-one sessions. Now let's get back to our regular scheduled programming. Okay, so getting into today's topic. I'm laughing because I'm always just like very giddy and happy, but this is no laughing matter. This is very serious. We're talking about very serious things here. And we're talking about young women feeling like they're like walking away from God. One, their creator, the being, our Father who created us, is mind-boggling to me. But like I said before, some people blame feminism, some people blame culture, some people blame men. And like I said, I don't think it's that simple. And I want to go over with you, I want to give you guys a breakdown, and I have my notes here, on both sides, on what I think both sides have opportunities in, and what both sides get wrong. And when I'm speaking about feminism, I'm speaking mostly towards modern day feminism. Maybe, I don't know enough history to understand the origins of it. I think ideally what we hear from it is very like sweet and peachy keen. But just getting into the breakdown. So starting with feminism. I think feminism, especially modern day feminism, overemphasizes on independence, and that turns into women being isolated from one another and even being isolated from other men and in general. So you being by yourself and not having your family, your friends, a community behind you, you'll have a different sense of life and an experience of life that will tailor your view. And you sometimes don't realize how isolation and how super independence can be a detriment to you, especially when you're trying to progress forward. Another thing that I think, that an opportunity that feminism has is it's redefining what fulfillment is for women and kind of like steering them away from faith and family, which is not ideal. Not only is it not ideal, like I said, it's kind of it's very detrimental, because faith and family, and starting off with faith is the foundation to who we are. We have a creator, we have a Father in heaven, and whether you believe in him from a Christian point of view, whether you grew up Christian, whether you grew up Muslim, whether you grew up in another religion, it's important to understand your foundation of who you are and who made you. And I think it's sad to understand that it's kind of like gravitating women away from faith, when it's like such a beautiful thing to have a relationship with God. In my opinion, and from my experience, it's nothing greater. And even whether I talk to other Christian women, Muslim women, or other women who have other religions, something collectively that we all share is the peace and tranquility and the security of having a God, of having a Father that we can, rely on, feel the love, and feel the joy that it brings. But also segueing that into family. This one mind boggles me, and it's because I have a lot of siblings, for one, if you guys didn't know that. I have a lot of siblings, and with that comes a lot of nieces, a lot of nephews. I have my aunts, I have my uncles, I have my mother, I have my grandmother. Grandmothers, I with an S, grandfathers, even extended family, your in-laws and stuff like that. I cannot think of a greater thing to have than to have my family. And believe me, B, I know I need to get my stuff together, but it matters the person that you're with. I can't wait to the day that I have my own little family, until I'm a mother, until I have my husband. But it's so confusing to me for women to see having a family as a bad thing, or as like something that's gonna slow you down. And there's just it's a hefty responsibility. From the things that I'm seeing right on social media, I took the time to kind of figure out where that idea is coming from. And I think obviously feminism is pushing for women to, be more independent, to be boss babe, to be, like you don't need nobody, you have yourself kind of thing. And I think, like I said before, that is such a detrimental mindset, especially when it comes to family. I don't know what I will do without my sisters, without my brothers. They bring me joy, they bring me laughter. Without my mom. And the idea of me one day being able to be a mom the same way how my mom was to me, to nurture, to care, to laugh, to make memories with, to share, to be that guiding force towards a beautiful, baby that turns into a child, that turns into a teenager, that turns into an adult. Like, I even have that with my nieces and my nephews. To see them grow, to see them learn new things, to see them become independent little people, it's such an amazing feeling. So I can only imagine what it's like when I become a mom. So that one was, it goes without saying. I don't know why women feel that way. But the third thing I would say is that another thing that feminism is encouraging, it's encouraging validation through attention, not purpose. And we're in a clickbait, social media kind of world right now, and there's a lot of like noise, but there's not like real purpose in life for the betterment of humanity, for the betterment of women, for the betterment of people in general. And I think there's a lot of things that go under the radar that are happening that we're not aware of because people are just seeking attention instead of understanding their purpose and understanding how they can better not only themselves but the world and push us forward. And I think bottom line is like feminism, it promises freedom, right? It's like, hey, be free, do you, be independent. But for a lot of women, it creates confusion because you don't know which direction is the right way to go. And I think for a lot of women, they kind of struggle with that because a part of them maybe wants family, but because we're so caught up in a clickbait, attention-seeking society, that they think that, that's the better lifestyle. That's less, less responsibility. That's more fulfillment. And that couldn't be further from the truth. But I already went over my thoughts on the opportunities and what I think are the issues that feminism has. But let's move on to the perspective on, men coming into the conversation. And I think the general consensus is that they're called the Manosphere, right? Being fair here, right? I think that from what I've heard, a lot of men in that sphere, or just in general, they maybe not consider themselves a part of the manosphere, but speak on opportunities and issues with women. I think they call out women a lot. And I'm not saying that their critiques aren't valid sometimes. They call out women and they profit from their downfall. And I think that's a very dishonorable, in my opinion. Because instead of encouraging women in a different way, and I understand, certain things, so blah, 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 to each its own. I won't get into that specifics. But at the end of the day, you profiting on someone's downfall kind of says a lot, I think, about you. But you know what? Neither here nor there, to each its own, live and let live, right? But what I would say is that another thing that the manosphere does is that it encourages division instead of restoration, because they're calling out all these bad things about women, all these things that they need to do, and valid or not, they're not really offering solutions or guidance towards women that are truly beneficial. I think that they highlight, this is what you should do, this is what you should do, this is what you should do, but they're kind of baseless opinions on what they would collectively ideally. But there's not real guidance for women, just critiquing them and telling them what it is and what it's not. And as a woman, ideally, as a woman who's grown up with certain men, whether it was my pastor, my grandfather, my brothers, even now, when I talk to the men in my life, I'm so grateful because there's a guide. There is a true solution and path forward to, I guess, the opportunities that they see in women in general and that they see in themselves. And if I come up to them and ask them, they'd be more than willing to give me their thoughts, but not only their thoughts, but like really a path forward to move forward. And I think that's what's missing, because and I'm not saying that it's their job or that they're supposed to focus on things regarding women. Like, no, they're called the Manosphere. They're there for the betterment of men, and they warn women on a lot of male nature and perspective. And they give their general thoughts on what they think the right thing to do is. But I think it's a lot of pointing out the problem, but it doesn't really protect or restore women. I think ideally maybe that's what they want to do, some of them, but it's like, like how does a woman tell a man how to be a man? Same thing with how does a man tell a woman how to be a woman? We all have our ideal things that can be beneficial, but none of us walk in each other's shoes to know, our individual opportunities, our individual struggles, and what truly is to feel to be in that, gender. So I think it could be a very good collaborative effort, because they are real, they are honest with their critiques. I mean, a lot of them are valid. I think a lot of them are self-serving as well, but we'll get into that in another video. But ideally, I think that both feminism and the manosphere have a lot of noise of surrounding women that just ultimately brings confusion and can cause what we're seeing now in that decline of women feeling like they want to steer themselves away from faith and family. But what I think the truth is that women don't need these extremes. They don't need these extreme feminists, and they don't need extreme manosphereists. I don't know what they call them. like extreme, like these extreme male opinions and critiques. I think what we need is guidance. What we need is truth, and also community. I think those three things collectively will improve not only women wanting to come to faith, not only women understanding and us understanding why women are going away, but also I think guidance, truth, and community will help bring women closer to faith and desiring family. Like, where are our Lady Danburys? Where are our Mama Bridgertons of the world? Like, where are they? These are, and I know they're fictional characters, right? But I think that they highlight something that we are missing. We need more women who are honest about life. Full stop. I'm not here to sugarcoat the realities of the world, the realities of individual gender's nature. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I think we need to have women that are honest about marriage, that are honest about growth, that are honest about discipline, but still rooted in love and dignity. And there is a way to do that. There is a way to have that so we can see progress in women. And breaking down what I'm trying to get at when I say community, having women there to support one another, not to be in competition with one another, not thinking like, oh, who's giving me the most attention? How many guys am I getting? Am I, more independent than this girl? Am I, progressing more? Am like stepping on each other's toes, smiling in their face, stepping on each other's toes, stabbing people in the back? Like, no. We need to have like a loving community that understands and praises the individual successes that we have, whether if it's becoming a mother, whether if it's becoming a wife, whether if it's inventing something, whether if it's pushing something along in a business that helps overall in society and within a woman's community. I think those things should be celebrated, and we should celebrate them together, not be in competition with one another, but help raise one another in different aspects and different phases that we go through in life. I think another thing that is very important is truth. Balancing identity, not do everything, not reject everything, not like, hey, I need to do this on my own. I can't trust nobody. I can't, rely on anyone. Or like, no, I'm not listening to this criticism, or I'm not listening to that critique, or I'm not listening to that opinion because that's toxic. I think that's a very bad thing to do. When you isolate yourself, when you only want to hear the good things in life, you stunt your growth. I thrive on feedback. I thrived on feedback back when I was in corporate America. I thrive on feedback when it comes to my relationships. I thrive on feedback when it comes to the space that I'm in now, and a lot of things behind the scenes that I'm doing, whether it's with business partners or lawyers. I thrive on understanding how to be better as an individual, but in the things that I'm doing. Because one day I want to, in whatever I'm doing, whether if I'm a mother one day, whether I'm a wife one day, whether if I'm, I have my real estate portfolio and I'm an investor, I want to be the best that I can be in all realms of what that entails. When it comes to how I present myself, when it comes to how I speak, when it comes to how I interact, when it comes to how I handle those things in my life. When it comes to being an aunt, when it comes to being a sister, when it comes to being a friend, when it comes to being a daughter, all those things are important. And what you do, I strongly believe what you do and how you go about one thing in life will translate into how you do all things in life. And I know people, that's beating on a dead horse, and a lot of people say that, but it is very true. But the last thing is understanding, having a support system, and like, your guides, your mentors, your destiny helpers, your friends, your family, your husband. That's important, and it kind of intertwines with community, but these are going to be your guiding forces. These are going to be the people in your life that are helping you build the life that you want. And I feel like a lot of women feel like, oh, I can't have it all, or I need to have it all, or I need to be a boss babe, and having kids or having a family is going to interfere with that. I think they lack support. They lack a good support system. That's why they feel that way. Because one, if you have a good husband, if you chose your husband right, if you have family behind you, if you've been a good friend and you've picked good friends, being able to be a mother, be a wife, and still do something that you're passionate about, it's possible. I'm not saying like everyone has to be running $1 billion business. I'm not saying that you have to be the next, inventor or anything like that. But say if like you're just really passionate about helping women on their motherhood journey, whether if you're really passionate about gardening, whether you're really passionate about, maybe you're passionate about, developing technology, maybe you're a little bit of engineering, you're a little nerd, who knows? I think that, we we're still people. We still have our own individual interests. And this is where your support system and having your community comes into play. Because if you have support and you give support, then it's easier to make everything happen collectively in a way that is beneficial to everyone. And that's why I think that having guidance, having truth, and community is the key to having women want to be mothers and wives, because then they feel like they can do and be what quote unquote feminism is trying to say that they could be. Like, oh, you can have it all. But realistically speaking, you have to understand what you're going to give and you're going to take. Like, I'm not saying that, hey, you can't reach the very pinnacles of what you're trying to do. But what I'm saying is be realistic. Be very realistic that you may not do it in the time that you want to do it in. Or if you do it in the time that you want to do it in, then you need to have certain resources in place. Like, don't get caught up with social media. Don't get caught up with feminism. And don't get caught up with the critiques of what a woman should do or what she shouldn't do. Understanding that there's a real benefit, but also a real fulfillment and purpose and drive in being a wife, in being a mother, in the thing that you're passionate about. Your purpose relies in all those three things. It's not one taking away from the other. It's understanding how to balance in a harmonious way those three things. And you do that with the proper guidance, with being truthful to yourself, and with the proper community. And I can get more into like, the details of all this maybe in another video, but I wanted to share my general thoughts on what the foundation needs to be for women to succeed, for women to desire motherhood, being a wife, and also owning in and protecting their passions. It's all intertwined with your purpose. You don't have to choose between being a woman of purpose and being a woman of family. With the right foundation, you can build both. So I think it's just very critical for women to take that into consideration, because I don't think that women are drifting away because they're lost. I think women are drifting away because they haven't been shown a path that can honor truly who they are, as women, as, strong but delicate but capable beings and beautiful beings that they are. I know I said a lot. I try to organize this in a way that is not just like, endless chatter, but I think that, it's a good way to start the conversation in a way that's going to be actually progressive and drive results, because I want to see more women get married. I love, as you guys know, I love that means I love weddings, I love marriages, I love proposal stories, and I need to hear them. I need to see them, and I love women finding out, oh my God, I'm about to have my first child. Oh my God, I'm about to have my third child, my fourth child. I'm bringing another life into this world, seeing them glow into these beautiful, into their beautiful pregnancy stage, and, seeing them, how they interact and become a mother. It's been a pleasure to see my sisters and my friends become mothers. It's just something to behold. But also, I love to hear about women's successes. Like, hey, I just, graduated and I got my education in engineering. I got my education in law. I got my education in being a doctor. Or like I started this business, or I'm investing into, real estate, or I'm thinking about taking a class, or I fell in love with pottery. I fell in love with art. I fell in love with gardening. I'm really passionate about cooking. I love to see, even like when my friends or my sister texts me, like, hey, I made a new dish this weekend for the family, or like, hey, we took family photos, or hey, I went to go travel here. I love to see successes, and other women, you should love to see that too. So we shouldn't be in competition with one another. We should encourage and honor one another. And I think it subtly starts with the conversation of, from woman to woman, just saying like, hey, there's certain things that we have wrong, and it's okay that we collectively have a conversation with each other to try to move forward in the correct way. And I think the correct way starts with understanding who they are, who we are as women, what we want, and how we can support one another so we can honor all the things that we collectively want out of life. But in truth, and most importantly, in faith, moving forward with God. But I know I said a lot today, you guys. I just had so much on my mind, and I did warn you guys. I hope you guys made it all the way to the end of this video. If you do have thoughts on what I've said, if you agree, disagree, feel like you need to add more, feel like you need to give more of a perspective on it, drop a comment below. There's a lot more that I didn't say that I would love to say, but I think it's a good start to the conversation, and I'm hoping in the future, as I grow in this space, as I grow with a lot of the things that I'm doing behind the scenes, I can give back to you guys, and I can be a support system for women. And the best thing I can do right now is just be an advocate by using my voice to really say like, hey, I think that we have certain opportunities. These are the solutions that I think that we should do, and praising and honoring women as much as I can, and helping women as much as I can. I'm obviously just one person, and there's a lot of things behind the scenes that I don't share with you guys that I do, and I'm obviously building and restarting my life pretty much from scratch. So, give me some time. We'll definitely get there. But in the meantime, if you're in genuine need of, support, if you need help navigating life, again, I do offer one-on-one consultations. Do use the information in the link in the description. I look forward to connecting with you guys. The few consultations that I've done so far, but for guys and girls, have been very enjoyable, and I love to help people. Realistically speaking, though, I am only one person, and my time is very essential and critical at this time when I'm navigating different things and rebuilding my life from scratch. So that's all I really have for today. I will catch you guys in my next video. Do remember that we drop content every Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So do remember to subscribe to the channel, do comment below, and do like the video. I'll see you guys next time. So bye.